Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to part two on why would a Christian vote for Donald Trump. First, let me start off by thanking everyone who viewed, commented, and shared my first YouTube video. Very thankful and humbled for the response. Also, breaking news today, right? Uh, the FBI has reopened Hillary Clinton's case. The stories I read, it's because of the investigation of Huma Abedin's ex-husband, Anthony Weiner, who's been accused of sexting with an underage girl. And so they confiscated his phone, his computer, and through that investigation, they uncovered some things that were relevant enough, important enough to reopen the case. Folks, we can't make this stuff up. And I think the biggest lesson learned here is the things you do in the dark could one day come to light. So just keep that in mind. So again, as I shared in the last video, I'm coming to you from a Christian perspective and sharing with you why am I voting for Donald Trump. And I see lots of Christians are just conflicted right now, and they don't know what to do. Some are thinking about not voting. Some are thinking about voting for a third party. Some are thinking about voting for Hillary Clinton. And so what I want to do is share with you some additional points on why I'm voting for Donald Trump. And let's be clear, this election is between two candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Nobody else has a chance. Casting your vote for a third party will not really accomplish anything. So there's a great article on stream.org written by a lady who is truly conflicted on voting for Donald Trump. And she just outlines how she did some soul searching, didn't vote with her heart, because if she voted with her heart, she couldn't vote for either candidate, but she voted with her head and started thinking about the things that are important to Christians, and came to a conclusion that only one candidate creates the best environment for Christians out of the two. So I'm going to share with you three additional points on why I'm voting for Donald Trump. The first one is the assault on religious freedom. Look at the stories. I mean, a story came out this week about a pastor who was also working at a company. The company asked the pastor to submit his transcripts from his sermons. Once they reviewed those, they weren't in line with his Christian views, and so they were offended with his Christian views, and he ended up getting fired. You're hearing stories of potential federal funding being withheld from institutions that don't facilitate an environment for transgender students. You're just seeing story after story after story of religious freedom coming under assault. In my own life, I mentor at an elementary school, and I was told that you cannot share your Christian faith. I got a friend right now who is part of, he launches and helps set up good news clubs, which they go into schools and share the gospel with kids. And what he's saying is a lot of liberal organizations, atheists and whatnot, scrutinize the schools so much that they go, look guys, it's not worth us bringing you on board because of all the harassment you get from that. Things are getting worse as we speak. Religious freedom is under attack. And as Christians, we are called to go and share the gospel and make disciples of nations. If your religious freedom is under assault, that becomes harder to do. You will see, Hillary Clinton has come out and told us that she believes that deeply held Christian beliefs need to change in order to catch up with the times that we're facing right now. And that can be in line with marriage or gender, things that we're facing right now that the views of the Christian church that conflict with the liberal agenda. Hillary Clinton has come out and said that. So she is somebody that thinks that Christian views need to change. So what that tells me is she's somebody that will make my ability to practice my faith harder, and will make yours harder too. So something to think about. Religious freedom is at stake, and do your research. Just Google, religious freedom cases that are pending. One that's pending right now is a pharmacist up north who refuses to offer abortion-inducing drugs. And so that's going to the Supreme Court, which leads me to my second point. Uh, the Supreme Court justices that will be appointed by the next president. Many, many Christian leaders, pastors, writers, people of influence in the Christian community, one of the main reasons they say they're supporting Donald Trump, even though they don't agree with the man, some don't even like him, is because of the Supreme Court justices that the next president's going to appoint. And think about it. We may elect a president for the next 4 years, but the average tenure of a Supreme Court justice is 30 years. So I'm a 38-year-old man. If you appoint new justices today, I'll be almost 70 when they come out of office, come out of their position. So that's huge. You see, how the Supreme Court has become politicized. You read stories about how the Obama administration put a lot of pressure on John Roberts from the Supreme Court to not cancel or destroy the Affordable Care Act. So it's very politicized. You've seen, 9 individuals were able to reshape the definition of marriage in this country, and more of that can happen. You got a liberal, progressive president with that will appoint liberal justices, and that means that there won't be a balance, and you could see a complete change in the environment that we face as Christians. So do research. Look at the appointees that Donald Trump came up with. He had several on the list that's been reviewed by the Heritage Foundation and has given their blessing. And I believe that Donald Trump's going to honor that list. I could be wrong. I mean, that's the chance that we all take, right? In running behind a candidate, I believe he's going to honor those justices. But that's at stake, the Supreme Court, and that can really shift the course of our country. Will shift the course of our country. And think about it. They could force institutions to create environments that are conducive for transgender people. And if you're not, you're discriminating, and you could be fined or you could be shut down. There was a story recently of a military training, and they were educating on different hate groups. And in that category, they had Christians, and right below Christians, they had neo-Nazis. So Christians are already considered hate groups. I read a story about a Northwestern professor who thinks Christianity is more of a threat to America than Islamic terrorism. So we can put our head in the sand and deny that religious freedom and the Supreme Court aren't a big deal. It's okay, you're overreacting. But in my opinion, those are huge. The third point that I want to bring up is Hillary Clinton's view on abortion. She came out at the last debate, looked at us in the eye, looked at the American people, and said that she was fine for partial birth abortions. So let me read to you what a partial abortion looks like. Guided by ultrasound, the abortionist grabs the baby's legs with forceps. The baby's leg is pulled out into the birth canal. The abortionist delivers the baby's entire body except for the head. Let me pause. The reason they do that is because if they pull out the entire baby, it would be considered murder. The abortionist jams scissors into the baby's skull. The scissors are opened to enlarge the hole. The scissors are removed and a suction catheter is inserted. The baby's brains are sucked out, causing the skull to collapse. The dead baby is then removed. It's hard to read, it's hard to fathom. As a father of a 2-year-old and I got a wife that's pregnant and we got a little daughter on the way. It's hard to understand that somebody thinks that's okay. Donald Trump has flip-flopped on abortion, but he has changed. We'll see his true colors if he gets elected. He is appointing pro-life, pro-Constitution justices. He is working with Michael Pence, who is pro-life, strong evangelical. Again, as I said in the last episode, he's surrounding himself with strong Christian leaders, and he's reaching out to them and being intentional. And they're speaking into his life. They're saying that they are listening to that. Like Donald Trump is listening to the evangelicals. Um, so he is being influenced by strong believers who have the same beliefs that you and I have. Hillary Clinton does not, and it's been expressed. And so, with her views on abortion, um, I don't see how any Christian could support her. And amongst the other things that you see with her, I see the conflict with Donald Trump. Um, but as I look at this is a two-person race: Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. If you vote for a third-party candidate, I equate that to a 100-yard dash with Usain Bolt, Justin Gatlin, and me. And you're saying, I'm pulling for Ray because I like that guy. I got no shot in that race, and neither does any third-party candidate. So do your research. I hope these videos convict you to research the issues our country's facing, the issues you're facing as a Christian. You know, which party, read the party platform, which party, which candidate, the policies of the candidate most align with your faith. There's not a perfect candidate. We don't have Jesus running for president. These are both deeply flawed people, but make an informed decision and look and see who best aligns with your views. And the beauty of all this is that you can pray and ask God to show you what to do. In James 1 it says, if any man lacks wisdom, ask God, and he liberally gives it to you. So God will give you wisdom to show you what to do, and do that. So appreciate you tuning in to part 2 of this episode. I'll have one more episode that I'll just give some closing thoughts on why a Christian votes for Donald Trump. If you like what I have to say, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share this with anybody you believe needs to hear this. I'm already talking to friends who have said my first video has impacted them, so that's really encouraging to hear. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.